hand today is going to be King Queen of Clubs. We are under the gun and open raise. I think this is a pretty standard open raise. Here's my range, so pretty decent hand. Go ahead, raise it up, and then we get 4 callers. So just looking at the numbers, you can see that this guy looks to be pretty loose. This guy's playing 53-6. We've got a lot of hands on him. We've got 3-bet ranges that are fairly wide. We've got different calling ranges, information on the hand. I think we're looking at something easily like this. Only question I had was like the suited queens. Does he call with those? Are those in his calling range? And it does look like he's got suited queens. He's got some suited jacks possibly. We're under the gun, so I think he's going to be a little bit tighter, but I'm going to give him credit for jacks plus ace king and ace queen as a 3-bet. So we're at 44%. That's probably about right when we look at his stats here. So pre-flop 64%, early position 42%. That's a called 2-bet. So I think that's pretty good. This guy's going to be tighter, playing 29-16. You can see early position, mid position. He hasn't really called. He's called. It looks like he's pretty tight in the early position caller. And when we check out a few notes, we've got a 3-bet range of jacks, aces, jacks, ace king. I think he is going to be much tighter. I'm going to say something like that. I'm going to say he's probably going to 3-bet jacks plus ace king. Maybe he has ace queen, maybe not. But you can see, like, I'm looking at pocket pair, maybe the suited broadways, and that's about it. I think it's definitely going to be heavier for those pocket pairs. This guy's playing 38-1. Doesn't seem to be very aggressive in his 3-bet stance. And you can see it's only 2 out of 519. I think his 3-bets are going to be like aces and kings. Maybe ace king, if that, but aces and kings and possibly that. And that's it. From the button, he's playing 33% calls. When we look at this, we're going something like this. See it? This is 30%. I have kings and aces, and I put ace king for like 50%. I assume he's going to 3-bet all of those, but I give him all the suited aces, suited kings, suited queens, and the reason being, we have some of this. We've got him from calling from mid position with the suited queens. So if he does that in middle position, he's going to do that on the button as well. So I think this is probably good for him. And our last guy is playing 40% VPIP, 27% from the big blind. He calls 39%. I think in this situation, he's probably getting such good odds that he's going to be calling for a lot. So I gave him all the suited aces, kings, queens, suited 1, 2, and 3 gappers, going down to jack 6, 10, 6. Some offsuit hands. This is 37.6, and I'm going to say probably 3-bet. So that's the one thing we didn't really get to. 38 out of 767. 3-bet range. Some pocket pairs, some broadways. It seems to be aggressive. I think this is probably a bad spot for him to 3-bet a wide range of hands, so I'm just going to say it's queens plus ace king and leave everything else. Alright, so it's 5-way. We see a flop of jack 10, 8 rainbow. So we're going to assume it gets to us, which I believe it does. And then we think about what hands are we doing now. Here we are playing much more straightforward. I think we've got maybe some top pair, maybe some over pair that we add. I think sets 2 pair are betting. Obviously a straight could be out there. You have to play 9-7 or queen 9, and that is possible with some of these wide ranges. But it's still going to be a pretty small percentage. So, if we take out our combo draws and so forth, you're looking at 31% for the draw just on the open ender, and then 25 for value. I think we can do possibly the gut shot as a bluff. 2-card gut shot, maybe the 1-card gut shot. That's going to be a little deceiving because we've got like queen jack and queens are all in there. We've got like pairs and stuff. Um, I'd consider those more value. I don't think I'd probably bet the sevens. So the only one would be like queen 10. Middle pair maybe. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think with the 2-card backdoor flush draw, we've got some business to bet. We are going to be out of position, but I think this is probably it. I don't think we're going to go much farther than this. This is just 70%. I think that's kind of what we're betting. And you can see the king queen. We've got open ender. We've got backdoor flush draw. I think it's pretty decent hand to go to bet. You've got a lot of tight players except him, or I'm sorry, a lot of loose players. This guy's the one tight player that I think, again, with all those under pairs, I think he's just going to fold. So I think we bet, and I think we probably go half pot here, maybe 2/3 pot. Not really thrilled with the check here at all. I think this was a mistake because when you look at all of the checking range, yeah, we're going to have some top pair here. You're going to, but I think we've got hands that have some equity that can make some money, and it prevents like folds. We don't want to see like a 7 come out, so that the 9 makes a straight. I think we don't really want to see that. I don't think we really want to see a queen. We have a queen blocker, but I don't think we really want to see it. So we're just going to go with our checking. We're going to say we check there. Next guy, I think it's going to probably be a check. I think once I check, maybe we're going to eliminate the straight and sets and the 2 pair from him. Just do that. It's 89%. This guy's a pocket pair. He did not bet. And again, I would assume a set or 2 pair would be betting. So we're going to give him everything else. And our last guy, again, I think he had straight, set, 2 pair. I think an over pair should be betting, would likely bet here in this situation. All right. And I kind of left the top pairs, so they're in the range because we don't know if they're really going to push for those top pair. So the turn comes out of 7 exactly. That's like a card I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see the 7 come out because now that any 9's gonna connect with it. And interestingly, this guy leads for 1. I think it's possible he has a straight. It's possible he has any of this. Basically 100% he could have those hands. Let's see if there's, like, as a bluff, I'm gonna probably say just middle pair plus, just to kind of gauge where he's at. That's it. So we have an open ender. We should be calling there, but if we have all of our hands here, I think at this point, the calls, it's going to be between a call and a raise. And I think we're just going to call, even though that 1 is we can treat it, that bet is kind of like a check. I still don't like the situation that we're in right now. So I think the sets are probably just going to be a call. Top pair, middle pair is probably going to be a call. Flush draw is going to be a call. If we have it, possibly the gut shot. I think that's already there. So I do think we're going to have some hands that call, including a set. But again, we're behind any 9. So that's just based on our range. With king queen, yeah, we're definitely calling. So this guy calls. We're going to give him, again, he's going to have something. So we can say top pair plus. We'll give him the flush draw, open ender as well. And this guy folds, and that's, I kind of think he's probably had some of those weaker hands. And this is the button. All right. Ace of spades hits. Flush gets there. Not the greatest. This guy bets 2, which again is just a little odd for the bet sizing. So I think it's probably straight flush set, maybe 2 pair. I don't think he's really betting any of those. So 2 pairs probably going to be the weakest that he would bet. Maybe even a set. No one's really raised anything, so he's probably just going to try to get some money here. I think we should probably raise it with our hand. But of all the hands that we have, yeah, we would raise our flush. That's what we would raise. I'm sure I just called. We'd raise our flush. I think our set possibly. I mean, we're bluff catching at this point on those hands. I think those would be the calls. And then the other player folds, which is interesting. I mean, he calls, so maybe he had a gut shot that he was going for the straight and he missed. Maybe. So just the two of us here, and he shows king queen. So, I don't have the king queen in his range because when we go back to the turn, I assumed he had all of those, but yeah, open-ended straight draw, flush draw. I mean, he adds all of those, and then you get your ace. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, somewhat. He's bluffing, betting as a draw. So we split the pot. I don't like how I played this at all. I think this was pretty poorly played. I'm not sure what was going on. So let's write this down. He overcalled under the gun 3 big blind RFI on big blind with king queen diamonds. He is out of position 5-way. Check. He bet 1 big blind, and then he bet 2 big blind on a jack of spades, 10 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 7 of spades, 8 of spades. All right. So this was just a bad play by me. Yeah, we split it. I think on the turn in the river, we could be justified in calling. With certain hands, but I think we c-bet this. I think this is going to be a strong enough hand. We're going to need to balance our over cards. Of course, we're not going to be betting everything. We're going to be out of position, but in a 5-way pot, we bet, we get called. We could fire again on the turn. My guess is I bet, and this guy folds, and this guy probably folds, and it could be 3-way at that point, which means we could easily bet again on the turn. Or we can check. If it goes check, check, and then the ace of spades comes out, then we can bet small. Or actually, I probably like the betting flop and the turn, and then potentially checking behind, thinking that we've got a flush draw that called. I don't think we would necessarily think flush draw calls because they're calling with backdoor potential, but I think we'd be betting that. So I think the mistake here is we didn't c-bet. And that put us in a situation where this guy is betting an odd amount. And even on the turn, I think this 7 was the bad card. Other seven, other card that's not as bad as a seven, I think we should be raising that bet. But I don't think we could really raise it, not with 4 card trade out there. So hopefully you enjoy the scene. Hopefully you learned something. Don't play like I did. Um, and if you do, look tomorrow for another one.